Coming to you from the studios at the Illinois Rock and Roll Museum on Route 66, it's the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock your city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best you're ever around.
Hey everybody, it's Ray the Roadie.
And this is Hollywood Mike once again.
Once again.
No,
thank God you're here every week, you know.
Yeah.
I always worry you're not going to show up some night and I'm going to be here all by myself.
Oh, I think you could handle it.
I know I could. I could, but, you know, what happens if I got to go to the bathroom or something? And when you're talking, I usually leave and wander around the museum, and then I come back and pick up from where we left off.
I'm glad you said that because I was about to say I wasn't about to hold it for you anyway.
I didn't expect you to. But
hopefully this is not that type of a show.
No, not at all. So
all right.
You folks are hearing some other voices out there tonight. Joining us, a band called Brookwood Drive. How you doing, guys?
Doing great. How about yourselves?
Great. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Tell us who you are and what you play.
My name is Mark Miller. I'm the guitar player and lead vocalist for Brookwood Drive.
All right.
I'm Bob Rowdies, play keyboards, and the secondary vocalist for Brookwood Drive.
Carlos Gonzalez, bass. No vocals.
For Brookwood Drive?
Brookwood Drive.
Yeah, thank God you're telling me. Because now if he said, like, I'm with some other band, it'd be like, whoa, what's going on?
And you notice, ironically, what did we read about him? A man of few words?
A man of few words, yeah. I saw on your little bio there. Like, oh, look at this. It's few words.
Yeah. So we were going to have Carlos actually do the majority of the talking today.
Also, we have another member that couldn't be with us today. He's at home convalescing. He's ill. His name is Glover Washington, and he's our fantastic drummer. Let's hear it for Glover.
Let's hear it, man.
All right. Yeah.
All right, Glover.
We hit you at the same time.
All right. Yeah.
we heard from the peanut gallery and applause at the same time.
Exactly. Well, the want was for his illness.
Well, that's why the board. That's why the board is going back.
That's why the board's getting out of here. Yeah. We're going to get a new one.
Yeah. So who lives on Brookwood Drive?
I do.
Okay.
It was, pretty much sitting around one day, thinking about what are we gonna name this project, So we came up with a bunch of different names, and I don't know, how do we set on Brookwood Drive for that?
I don't know. I wasn't there for the whole process, but the process is always you can't really decide on something that appeals to the group. It's got to be something generic. So,
also too, some of these guys are old in our band, so something just coming up with something that they couldn't remember, would have been hard. So we rehearsed at Brookwood Drive. So hey, let's call it that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it came. So, what were some of the names that got beat by Brookwood Drive?
Cold Shot.
All right.
Bob Rowdy, Mark Miller, Carlos Gonzalez, Glover Washington Project.
Whoa.
That was hard to find a URL.
Yeah. Then it started sounding like a
somebody had taken that already.
So we come up with a bunch of various different names. I like Frosty from one of my favorite songs by Albert Collins. So I kind of like that. But
people started thinking about that Frosty the Snowman thing.
Right. Right. So we had to stay away from that. Copyright infringement and all that.
Cocaine.
The whole thing. Yeah, we were trying to keep it legit.
Were you really going to call the band Cocaine?
No, because we were just going with the Frosty Snowman. And,
Right.
Yeah.
Because you would have probably got some people go to your shows. You see on marquee tonight, Cocaine, free of charge, no cover.
And it's Frosty.
Yeah, no cover.
I believe that's the reason why Bare Naked Ladies are called Bare Naked Ladies.
Exactly.
On the marquee was tonight, Bare Naked Ladies, and
everybody's coming in.
So, is it an assumption that you're the one that put the whole band together? Or how did that all come about?
It was kind of like maybe consultation of things of other ideas from other people. We've had some other lineup members, it started out. I actually hadn't played for years and figured, hey, getting up there in age, why not still live the dream while it's still in my heart? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I ran a couple of ads in some of the local musician search engines and stuff like that, you know, and got a call from Bob, and then went from Bob to Carlos, from Carlos to Glover, and it all just fit.
Okay, so Bob, you actually then put the band together, basically. If you started calling everybody, right?
No, actually, it was Mark.
It was Mark.
Yeah, it was Mark.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought
Yeah.
I thought you got a call from
Well, I actually ran in that. Well, like I said before, we had a different. I was playing with a different drummer and a different bassist, and things just didn't really, pan out between us. So decided to keep it going. So what I did, ran an ad. We got Bob. Bob came on, and then Bob kind of took over from there. He's like our Quincy Jones, so
Okay.
he does it.
Okay. When you guys all got together, those are some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, I can't believe how many people I fired already. So
Which brings up a point. I was recently in an accident, and I say 8 hours afterwards, he was like, "Well, Mark, can you still sing if we replace you on guitar?" I was like, 8 hours, man. It's not even 24 hours yet. Come on, Yeah, it kind of hurt.
we had 6 gigs lined up for or was it 4? We had 4 gigs lined up. 2 weekends back to back. So yeah, and I was in Seattle, and I got that news in the morning, and then of course, I pretty much just woke up, so I got into a panic and didn't have my coffee to start off the day. I'm sorry. I really apologize.
When did this all come together? How long ago?
When he fired me?
No,
2 weeks ago.
no.
Let's go back and find out when it came together.
Yeah, when it
How
all
long
came
before he
together,
fired
yeah.
you?
I've been on board for about a year and a half.
Okay.
So Bob and Mark have been doing this for at least 2.5 years, I want to say.
No, 2, maybe 2.
Did you kind of put this together during the pandemic?
Yeah. It's just in like 2021.
Okay. What kind of backgrounds you guys? You said you hadn't played in a while. You two guys, have you been playing with anybody prior to that?
I took a break after 2016. Decided to get back into it. Prior to that, I was subbing for other bands. Not something I usually do, but it was kind of the thing that brought me out of where I was.
Okay.
Background in country, rock, blues. There's a lot of work for bass players that are available and can play.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm the answer to everything, but there's a demand like drummers and bass players. That if you can find one, stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So when you guys came together, was it a consensus that you were going to go rhythm and blues route, or did you have that discussion to decide what kind of band you guys wanted to be?
I want to say it was there in the beginning, but then there's different elements too, which kind of attracted me in the sense where it's not just one lane of rhythm and blues. There's a rock element, there's a jazz element, there's a reggae song that Mark has. You'd have to hear it.
Sure.
It's not just one lane of music.
Right.
This is you guys do original music, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, predominantly, or
We mixed them. We mixed the two, originals and covers, and that way, I think by using some of the covers, and most of the covers that we do play are more obscure covers, things that you might not have ever heard from that artist,
B-sides.
Yeah, right. And we make them A-side. But the thing about that, too, is it sets the tone, for our genre that we're trying to fill, and we're not just a blues band, but we are a blues band, if you can understand what I'm saying.
Right.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
we do a little bit of everything.
Right. So give us an example. We just want people to understand who you are and what you're doing. So give us an example of like a cover song you would do that would be more like the B-side of a band.
I don't know. Saying groceries. We actually open up. Yeah, we open that one
Love
up
that song.
on our sets. Yeah, so it's a hot version.
Whose version do you do? If you had to pick one.
We kind of mix it,
Yeah.
That version's kind of like John Mayall,
that's my
Buddy
favorite.
Whittington's version,
Yeah.
But gotta have Wet Willies too, though.
Yeah, right.
So we kind of mix it only with a little bit more funkier, I think.
Right. I love John Mayall. I love everything that he does.
Yeah, me
I don't
too.
know what it is. I was in San Diego, California about 10 years ago, and I was there for, of all places, like a scientific research convention. And somebody says, there's this place you can walk to from here. It was like this triple level, like it was a bar and a restaurant,
like 4th and B or something like that down there. Yeah,
something like that, right? And I get there and there's this long line out the door. And the cover charge is $30. And I was like, well, what's going on here? So I walk up to the person. I said, why is this a $30 cover charge? And they say, well, John Mayall and the Blues Breakers are playing here tonight. I was like, you got to be kidding me. For $30 cover charge? And I walked in here, and all these people are standing in line. They're supposedly John Mayall fans, right? And I walk in, there's John Mayall sitting over at the corner of the bar completely by himself. Nobody's talking to him. He's just sitting at the corner. He's literally 20 feet from the front door, and these people don't know who he is. He's drinking a Dr. Pepper, and he's got a stack of his CDs that he's selling.
Oh, wow.
This is John Mayall.
Yeah.
And I walked over to him and introduced myself and the whole bit, and he pushed the chair out and sat down. And I sat down there for 20 minutes talking to John Mayall, drinking a Dr. Pepper. I hate Dr. Pepper.
One of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet, though.
I was going to drink that damn Dr. Pepper. And I bought a CD. He signed it for me. I went upstairs, had dinner. It was a fantastic show.
Outstanding.
Everything. And I think I got lucky that night because that night he had Coco Montoya on guitar with him.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good time. But yeah, no, that's a good song. I absolutely love Grits and Groceries.
Yeah, it's a great song.
So who's the writer in the band?
Bob and I both write.
Okay.
Well, what do you want me to say? Yeah. Mark and I both write the original material, so we're waiting for Carlos to, kick in with some stuff. I know Glover's been talking about some stuff. He's just been bitching about work, and he's like, we need to write a song about them. I'm like, well, go ahead.
Because I think there's been about 100,000 blues songs bitching about work.
At least 100,000. But see, our blues songs are about bitching about work.
Are about bitching about work. Yeah, like if I hear this man talk about his job one more time.
Right. I'm going to. Good stuff.
So what's the whole writing process for you? Do you guys get together on a regular basis? Did somebody come up with an idea and you say, okay, you write your drum part, you write your keyboard part? I mean, how does it come up for you guys?
We'll come up with the basis for a song, or I might have an idea or something like that. I kind of write a little bit different than Bob. I'm music first, then lyrics, like the night before we go to the studio. It's the pressure thing for me, because my lyrics, to me, they have to mean something to me,
right?
Not just something spacey or whatever like that. Once we present it, the guys like it, we work from there. Add your own feel to it, your own parts to the song. That's what gives us the Brookwood Drive flavor.
Right. That's where it all comes in.
Yeah.
Usually I end up just at home. I end up coming up with an idea. I come up with a story, or I see something, and then I kind of start getting some words put together, and I put the music in there. Kind of put the basics down, bring it in, and play it, and then everybody kind of puts their own stuff to it.
Right.
Like Why Baby Why, though, was different.
Yeah, we did.
Glover wasn't there that night. And all of a sudden, Carlos and Mark start putting this riff together. So I hop behind the kit. I just started putting a beat to it. And then he starts putting the words to it, like right away.
Why, baby, why did you have to treat me this way? Why, baby, why did you have to push me away?
So it just came right out.
Right.
Really, yeah.
And a lot of times, I guess it's, for me, it's easy to write if I don't think about writing.
Right.
It's like playing us being musicians, all of us here at the stable here. I never made money playing until I stopped worrying about making money playing, man.
Right.
That's how it happens, man. So it's the same thing with the writing process. If I really try to hammer something out, it just doesn't work, for me like that.
Yeah.
I gotta have a feeling at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I can't sit down and say, okay, you know what? I haven't written a song in a long time. So from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock tonight, I'm going to go sit downstairs and I'm going to write a song.
Right.
Nothing. That's like sitting on the toilet without having to go.
Exactly.
And that's the title of your next song.
That's it. Only our song's going to be about bitching about sitting on the toilet and don't have to go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm sitting on the toilet at work.
At work.
And I can't go. Got to get the work end of it.
Oh, that's funny. So what's your favorite song, Carlos, that you guys perform?
Man, I would have to say it's one of Mark's creations. It's called Addiction Train.
Addiction Train.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And you'd have to hear it. I thought we'd be listening to some of this material, and I brought it with. But
Wow.
it's
Oh, we will add it.
okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It'll all go into it for sure.
Yeah. So it's
Outstanding.
It's musically it's challenging for all of us, and lyrically it's very expressive. It's a story in itself.
Okay. Describe it. What kind of rhythm? Upbeat. Slow.
How would you describe it? It's got a rock feel to
It's
it.
kind of a rocky blues feel, but it's a good groove though.
Okay.
It's not nothing too fast, nothing too slow, but just doom, boom, boom, this real nice smooth groove.
It's real steady.
I took a ride on the addiction train, and ever since that day, I live my life in pain. God only me to blame. I think I've gone insane. The train took everything that I loved in my life. I said I've lost my job, my house, my dog, my freedom, my kids, and my wife. And my heart became cold as ice. I even died twice.
I attribute the rock steady beat to Glover Washington, the drummer. He just holds it real tight, and,
Right.
and everybody just falls in. It's an accomplishment.
Something tells me that there's a little bit more to all of your backgrounds. We interview like the band that was in here before. You guys were a bunch of young guys. You guys are more seasoned, like we are. I'd like to know a little bit more about where you guys came from and what inspired you at first to play music.
I've been playing off and on since I was a kid, since about 8 years old.
Okay.
Started off playing violin, then bass and guitar. So, and that, it took me out of the element that I was in growing up. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and it was kind of tough back then as it is now. But it also gave me, I was a little different. I was listening to like Black Sabbath, man.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, stuff like that, the guitar players,
Oh, yeah.
and it was fantastic, so, but that kind of kept me going. It also gave me something different, especially growing up in the city sometimes, you get caught up in the city, with something different than just doing the sports thing and stuff like that all the time. Music was considered being more maybe nerdy.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But music was a lot easier getting the women than out there being busted up on the football field, So it worked out pretty good with that. From there, for me, it was University of Illinois. From University of Illinois to United States Marine Corps. Okay. I'm a former Marine Corps warrant officer. From there to Department of Justice, I retired from the United States Border Patrol. Nice. Now I work at one of the VA hospitals in Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Any of you guys ever do any touring as a musician, or has it always been more kind of like a hobby type kind of thing for you?
I've done some touring things back in the day. Like I say, in between, I was fortunate enough to have like government jobs where I could take 2 months off, for my vacation. I would do like mini tours and stuff like that. So, and, hung out with guys like George Clinton back in the day,
Nice.
Things like that. So it worked out pretty good for me, and, after a while, life took over, man, family, kids,
Yeah. Did you actually tour with George Clinton or just?
I've done some of the Funk Fest with him.
You have?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's
Excellent.
pretty good,
Excellent.
man.
See, I knew you had something else going on.
Hey, man.
Holding it back like that.
Hey, I'm like you, man.
Gotta tell them about the stage outfit.
Uh-oh.
We were going to go ahead and steal Parliament's diaper scene from him, man.
When is that gig? I'll make sure that's when we don't go to.
Definitely. Most definitely, yeah.
Right.
Sponsored by Depends.
Yeah. All right, what about you, Carlos? What else you got going on?
Musically started playing guitar at about 9, dropped it because I didn't catch on to sight reading or doing that. Picked it up again when I was 14, playing by ear. Before the internet, you had to sit down with a record, scratch your record, trying to learn the riff over and over.
Yep.
Discovered that I was a better bass player than a guitar player. when I got a 4-track recorder, I had to do all my own parts with a drum machine and guitars, and like, wow, I really like bass.
Well, there's too many extra strings with guitars. With the bass, you only got 3.
That's exactly how it worked out. But it made
The
more
fourth
sense.
one's for show.
Yeah.
It just made more sense to me. 'Cause
He's got 5 now.
So I've always gravitated towards drums, and that, to me, to just be there to translate the melody into a beat has always been it's fulfilling.
Right.
So it's been 30, 40 years.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, just local bands, nothing really serious.
Any touring for you?
The Islands,
The Islands?
Blue Island,
Okay.
Rock Island, Stony Island.
Stony Island.
That's it.
I love it.
You're listening to the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. Bob's
Last but not
turn.
least- Yeah, Bob's
Yeah,
turn.
mine's kind of boring. I started when I was 6. My mom saw me like plunking away at my grandmother's player piano. So my dad and my uncle brought it back from her house. They took the whole thing apart, built it back up into the basement. I started playing, so I got the lessons. And it was all classical for years and years and years. And got into high school. The high school music teacher, heard me play. And all of a sudden she got all crazy excited and signed me up for this music competition to compete to get into Juilliard.
Wow.
I'm freaking out because I'm 14 years old and I don't want to play classical because this was a drag, right? I'm playing classical music. All my friends are playing, hey, Mozart, when are you going to come out and play football? You're going to
Did they really call you Mozart?
Yeah, one guy called me Mozart, the other guy called me Beethoven. I was surprised they even both knew who they were. So
If you're both listening, you're an idiot. Bob says that.
So I had the classical teacher was actually, he played with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra.
Right.
So we're kind of rushing around trying to find 2 pieces. I got one classical piece, and the other one I played was Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water.
Wow.
And I had to improvise.
For a Juilliard.
For Juilliard, right? And I had to
Audition.
improvise. So by that time, I already started picking stuff up by ear. So I was playing along with WLS, and I'm playing stuff like Back Off Boogaloo from Ringo Starr and things, just picking it up. And
I have that 45 at home.
do you?
Do you? Wow. Wow, you got it showing your
hear it in my
ages.
head.
You know?
I know. I'm showing my age.
Yeah.
So the judge asks me who my favorite composer is, and I'm freaking out thinking, oh man, I don't want to go play classical music for the rest of my life. And I said, Elton John. And the guy took his glasses off and he goes, Elton John? I said, yeah. And I knew
Who was a classical pianist, by the way.
well, yeah. So, yeah.
Even his rock and roll, you hear
Oh,
the
you
classical.
definitely hear it.
So I killed my chances there, which is really stupid in retrospect. And after that, it was just wedding bands and some other, garage type bands playing locally all over the place. Actually made some good money playing the wedding stuff. And then prior to these guys, I was with the Southside Exiles.
Yeah.
So we had a number of years there. Actually, 2 of the guys that were high school friends.
Okay.
So we started. I think we were in our first band together too. So then I decided I needed to play some more and saw this guy, saw his face on an ad, and thought I'd try it out.
Wow. Just on my face?
Wow.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You look like a blues guy. I don't know.
I look old.
He's pretty. He is so pretty. No, see, I knew there was more. I knew there was more to the story. See, if I was telling Bob's story, I would have started off with, well, see, at 6 years old, I was a child prodigy, and then I built my own piano in the basement, and the first time I played was for a teacher, and I just completely blew him away, and he said, "You need to be in Juilliard." And
All right, we're putting that on the website.
Put it on the website.
that's your new bio.
That's right. But yeah, things just, it's kind of like fate, man.
Yeah.
The way we all came together. So
Yeah.
I think it's working out pretty good. And we've got a great sound.
Hi, I'm Rick Anthony. I'd like to thank my radio brothers, Ray the Roadie and Hollywood Mike, for allowing me to tell you about my podcast, the Someone You Should Know podcast. We spotlight musicians, authors, and interesting people, and we like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. The podcast is heard twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays, and you can check it out on your favorite streaming platforms and on the web at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast.com. That's the Someone You Should Know podcast with me, Rick Anthony. making a difference one artist at a time.
I'm Christy from Crime Cave Podcast. I've had a huge interest in true crime since my days of watching marathons of Snapped back in the mid-90s. I needed an outlet to talk about the cases that have haunted me for a very long time. With each episode under 20 minutes, I shine a light on some of the most bizarre cases in the last 50 years. Join me in The Crime Cave.
Bob's going to tell you guys when our next shows are going to be.
Next show's coming up October 6th at the Hard Rock Casino in Gary, Indiana. Then we got October 13th at Q Bar in Darien. And then the 20th at the Moonlight Theater in St. Charles. And then November 9th will be at Buddy Guy's.
Nice.
And you'll be healed by then.
Hopefully. I'm healed by the end of the month.
Yeah. So that was recent that we almost fired him.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. 3 weeks ago to this day.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Then he hurt his hand and they felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Jeez. That's rough.
It is rough. It's really rough. I mean, Yeah, and it also brings a new concept to me as far as I really feel for those who don't have the full mobility. I mean, just having two hands one day, the next day, just one.
Right.
It's, it puts a lot of things in perspective, you know what I mean? So, won't take a lot of things for granted anymore, that's for sure.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
That's for sure. So, and even too, I look at this as a blessing. We needed some time off. We were taking the month of September off anyway.
Right.
So if this is going to happen, this was kind of like almost the perfect time for it to happen,
Right.
So, but in the shows that we had to cancel, definitely we will rebook, once we get back at it. So the whole thing is about just taking my time and convalescing and doing it the right way.
Right.
So and it's coming along pretty good. I got another X-ray tomorrow, and I should be able to start physical therapy after that, and should be back ripping. Like yourself, man, because I've heard you. Should be back riffing here in a couple of weeks, bro.
I want to get out and see you guys, man. So I'm kind of envious of you that you guys are playing these pretty good venues, and you're playing a lot of original music.
Yes.
That's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, we've got our debut album will be coming out. Hopefully it'll be done and out by October.
Yeah.
So we just have a couple of things to clean up and get everything all mixed and mastered, and we'll have it out.
It's got a name?
Yeah, sitting on the toilet when you don't have to.
That's right. At work.
Write that down.
How many tracks is it?
We've 9 tracks.
9 tracks.
9 tracks. So,
Yeah.
and I believe we got you guys copies of those too. So,
Yeah,
Cool.
excellent. Is it? Can you everybody else? Can they find that? On Spotify. Where can you find the music?
We haven't put it out just yet because I want to get the whole thing kind of put together as one album.
Right.
And then after that, if people want to start getting it through Spotify and SoundCloud or any other places, that's fine. But I just want to get everything complete and done and not piecemeal it out.
Right.
we can give them a little teaser though.
Yeah, we
put
can
out
do
like
that.
a 2-song teaser or something. Let's do that. So, how we want to put it out on our website or on our Facebook or on our. That's the teaser, man.
That's the teaser.
That's the motor. That's the engines, man. Driving on the drive, man.
Are you going to have anything physical, or is it just going to be digital? You can have any CDs or an album, an actual vinyl, or.
Well, I know vinyl at this point, vinyl is kind of it's not cheap.
I know.
So, but there's some good deals actually to do the CDs. I think it's nice to have those when you're at a show to have something to sell. But yeah, I mean both. And there are places that'll press the CDs and also do the digital stuff and have all the whole package put together, and you can get it all done.
Yeah.
So you can online and physical. So there's just something, merch wise. We've got our T-shirts, but something in addition to that. We've got something to hand out.
I went to a show a couple of weeks ago. I can't even remember the name of the band, but they had an 8-song album on a jump drive like that. And I asked the guy where he got these things from. I don't know what the service is, but they will put everything on it. They'll load it all in there, and they paid like $4 a piece for these things, and that's what they were selling. That's what they were selling at the shows.
Well, we actually did our demo like that.
Yeah.
That our introductory package that when we sit down to the venues and stuff. So
right,
on the drive like that, and came out pretty good. Probably from one of our live shows.
Right. Yeah, no, that's the wave of the future there. And believe me, I hate that. I still have my vintage stereo at home. I got the side-by-side tape deck, and I got the CD player and everything. God, I hate. Okay, where do I plug my phone in? I hate that, man. I just want to I want a record.
He's got the stack of matchbooks for the 8-track player.
Well, I've got an 8-track in the caddy outside right now.
Do you really? Yeah. I've got an old stereo. It's from the 70s. You remember the brand Lloyd?
Yeah.
I've got an old Lloyd's. It's got an 8-track player on it. It's got the dial built into it and the whole bit. It's just the amp and the receiver, and I got a turntable and a tape deck and a CD player and everything goes.
Yeah, I still have all that, and I still do this, and I also do the streaming. I do the whole thing. Yeah, but
I've got one 8-track. I've got one 8-track tape. I found it at I think a flea market, and I said I got to buy this thing because I have to see if the 8-track player works, and it does. I got the Village People.
Oh, wow.
I got the Village People on 8-track.
Hey, didn't they win a Grammy? Hey,
yeah, that's right.
Aren't they millionaires?
Yeah, they are. Mm-hmm. Gosh, you know how much money that they make every single year off that YMCA song?
Yeah, Macho Man.
Now,
yeah, make a ton of money.
It's all right.
So you guys out playing like every weekend usually when you're?
Well, we're pretty much. That's another thing good about this band. We're a project that rehearses twice a month.
Yeah.
Literally. And we started off playing just weekends, Friday and Saturday nights at some fantastic venues too. So, and that's kind of like not only a testament to us as a band, but a testament to the music audience of the Chicagoland area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Outstanding.
Do you guys do your own booking?
yes.
And there you have it.
No, I've been contacting venues, through Facebook, through looking through their websites. I've got the whole spreadsheet out, who to contact, who I've talked to, when to follow up, and who's basically told us to drop dead, and other guys who are saying, we got to have you guys in. So it's turning out to be sometimes. I would spend 6 to 8 hours going through everything and, through the whole week. So
You're not finding any problems with being an original band? People?
Because there's so many tribute bands out there.
Right.
We're getting that. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, we're only doing the tribute bands. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I still send them some stuff that we had. Actually, it was, what was that one? Actually, the agent that booked us for Heroes West and Q Bar initially was talking about, we're just doing really cover bands. I sent him our stuff, and he took a chance on us and booked us at Q Bar in Lamont. I'm sorry, no, Heroes West in Lamont. And we opened up with another band of that played in front of us, so friends of mine, and the place was packed.
Yeah,
they were saying that they've never seen anything like that in a couple of years. So we ended up getting Q Bar, and I think we're talking about I'll be talking about maybe getting booked at Cubby Bear next year.
Nice, yeah.
So that it was kind of a turnaround, and then same thing with Moonlight Theater. She was asking about all the covers, and then I sent her our original stuff, and she's like, "Hey, we have to have you guys in here."
Right. That's great. You guys have a great calendar. That's fantastic. You're playing some really good places.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out and see these guys.
You got to come out and see it.
I have a feeling I like them.
Oh yeah.
All right. Matter of fact, at a lot of our shows, I invite a guitar player to come on stage and do the shuffle with me, man.
Oh, do you
T-Bone
really?
Shuffle.
Yeah.
Come on. Can I count on you?
I'll have to do it.
All right, man. You heard that. You heard that. It's written in stone.
Absolutely. It's in stone. Yeah. No, I love that. That's great.
Even and we're doing like all these are headline shows, but we're also open to opening up for other bands too. So we'd like to collaborate with others and get as much audience as possible for both bands.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, you're actually close. You said you're in Homer Glen.
Yeah.
I would love to have you come out and sit in with the house band. I host an open blues jam every Sunday night at the studio in Lockport.
Okay, yeah, I've played there actually when it was the Martini Bar.
Yeah, Port Noir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hosting that for the past few years. Every Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Come on out.
Martini bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's what it was, yeah.
And it still is. High-end cocktails and wine and
All
stuff
right.
like that. But come on out. I'd love to have you come in and sit in with the house band one night. That'd be great.
So somebody's listening to this podcast and saying, I got to hire these guys. How do they find you?
Well, you can find us on brookwood.live. You can contact us that way. There's also Brookwood Drive
Band.
5 at gmail.com.
Right, and Brookwood Drive Band on Facebook.
On Facebook. So
And
there's-
YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I got locked out of Facebook, but somebody hacked into it. So I got to have you
Another
put me
song.
back in under my new name.
Another song.
Yeah.
I think it was bad behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the blues because I got hacked on Facebook.
Yep, there you go. That's another song.
That's right.
Yeah. Social media blues.
That's
I
it.
was
Oh,
working
yeah.
so hard on there, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder if it's, remember that ZZ Top song? I heard it on the X.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard it on
Yeah.
the X,
Yeah.
but now there's that new social media platform that's called the X.
Oh, really?
Is it
So
really?
It's going to take on a whole new meaning now.
It could, you know?
I like it.
I think of stupid things like this. So don't mind me.
Yeah, it's all right.
You guys just talk amongst
Nobody
yourselves.
does. Nobody does. Well, everybody except Carlos, because he's a man of few words.
He's a man of few.
He's just nodding his head. He's just, yep.
Whatever you
he's
say.
getting ready to come to life, guys.
I don't have a microphone.
Here you go.
Yeah.
You got a microphone. You're just sharing one.
No, we're good.
You scared him away.
Oh, wow.
Give him twice as much.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks a lot for coming out. It's been a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you guys too, not just
Yeah.
Mike.
That's right.
And you played a lot of local places around here, so easy to see you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having us. And
Appreciate it.
tell Ron I said hello and to put me back as friends. I can't get a hold of him on Facebook.
Hey, again, thanks for having us. Definitely. You know,
Absolutely.
I
Thanks for
really
coming out.
appreciate it.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
And there you have it, Brookwood Drive.
Those guys seem like a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. I mean, naming after your street, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to know another band. They were called Lois Lane, and it was the same thing. It was their street name. It was their street.
Lois Lane. No,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I got to hear his singing voice. We got to hear some of that stuff that they gave us.
Well,
He sounds like Barry White.
He does. You'll never find. But yeah, them guys sound real good. All original. I mean, we're getting a lot of original people in here.
I'm absolutely loving that.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, every time you turn around, oh no, we're just predominantly original. Like, wow.
Yeah, no, that
Kind
is
of go through that tribute band, cover band, and now we're getting originals again.
right. I'm absolutely loving that we're having original music in here. I think that's what's speaking to people right now, and I hope
think so.
everybody's hearing it.
And I hope, I just hope that the club owners listen too.
Right.
You know, so because it's hard to get in when you're original.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with the tribute stuff.
Yep, exactly. So once again, we want to thank Brookwood Drive and you, our listener, for joining us every week on the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. And we hope to see you next week. Now, we won't see you, but we hope you join us next week for the next exciting episode of the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. Bye-bye. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast is edited by Paul Martin. Theme song courtesy of M&R Rush. The Rock and Roll Chicago podcast does not own the rights to any of the music heard on the show. The music is used to promote the guests that are featured.
Rock and roll Chicago. Rock and